WNBA star Brittney Griner is back on U.S. soil today, and she's on the road to reclaiming her life after 294 days in Russian captivity. American officials secured her release in exchange for Russian arms dealer Viktor Bout. Now, Griner arrived in San Antonio, Texas yesterday, where she's undergoing a routine medical evaluation at Brooke Army Medical Center. This moment was months in the making, driven by Griner's teammates, the White House, and Griner's wife, Cheryl. Here's part of Cheryl Griner's reaction when President Biden told her about Brittney's release.
She's on the ground.
Stop it.
Yep, she's on the ground.
Great day. This is such a good day. Oh my God.
A great day for Cheryl Griner. The release of an American citizen from the clutches of a foreign adversary, it should be cause for celebration. But some on the right are falsely implying her release came at the expense of Paul Whelan, the U.S. Marine who's been held in Russia for nearly 4 years.
Let's think about what we did here. We traded a basketball player for a known terrorist, a criminal.
He left a Marine behind. Think about it. It's not an equal exchange.
But despite the administration's efforts to bring Whelan home as well, Russian demands for securing his release, they could not be met. Whelan's own brother, David Whelan, recently acknowledged just that. Take a listen to this.
I think President Biden made the right decision. His job is to protect all Americans and to care about all Americans. And it would have been wrong for him to leave behind an American when he had the ability to bring them home.
But Brittney Griner's challenges, they are far from over. She left the United States in February as a renowned athlete, and she returns in a position she never asked to play, a symbol of Americans held captive overseas and a target of right-wing grievances, all while forging her own path toward healing from trauma that most of us will truly never understand. During Griner's 10 months in Russian captivity, she received unwavering support from the NBA, from the WNBA, and her Phoenix Mercury teammates. So when word came of her release, social media was flooded with their excitement and outpouring of love. One of Brittney's teammates, Brianna Turner, tweeted, "Thank you to every single person that kept Brittney Griner's name alive. #WeAreBG." And Brianna Turner joins me now. Brianna, thank you so much for being here. When and how did you find out that Brittney was released, and what did you feel in that moment?
I found out early Saturday morning at about 7 o'clock. My mom busted in my door. I thought something really bad happened, but she was just like, "BG's free, BG's free." And I was like, am I dreaming? Like, what? Then I just hopped on Twitter and turned on the TV, and it was just breaking news, and it was an amazing feeling.
Oh, my goodness. I know it has to be, I mean, everyone, people who were advocating for her release, folks who were covering this story like myself, I know it felt good to see her come home, but I have to imagine for you especially, it was a special feeling. Can you talk a little bit about the We Are BG campaign and the role that that campaign played in keeping Brittney's name really out in the forefront during her detainment in Russia?
Yeah, definitely. So it was wearebg.org, and it was a website dedicated to her case and how she was determined to be wrongfully detained. We had T-shirts. There was the We Are BG hashtag. And so really our goal was just keep BG's name alive. We didn't want her to be forgotten or for her to feel forgotten. So yeah, the main goal was just keep her name in the media, on social media, on TV. And I think we did a good job with that.
I mean, I think the advocacy that you all really built up and the media campaign, I think it truly did make a difference. There are some folks out there who have been critical, right? And you have commented on this, what I would call a false narrative, that Brittney is anything but a proud American. What do you have to say to those critics of hers?
Definitely, BG is a proud American. She has been in the Olympics multiple times, has won gold medals, has represented this country. She's a proud American, and I know people have their doubts. I'm not sure why, but knowing her as a person, I'm literally her friend. I know her personally, and she is proud to be American, regardless. And she can speak against the country and talk about the country, want better for the country, but it doesn't mean that she hates her country.
We can be critical of America because we love her. Someone once said that, and I think it's absolutely accurate in these times that we live in now. Brittney, she's finally safe on U.S. soil. I think that there's a question of her mental health and her physical recovery, and frankly, that should be the focus. So Do you know of any support that she's being offered by the WNBA or by fellow Mercury teammates? And have you or any of your other teammates made plans to go see her in Texas?
I think right now we're giving her time and space with her wife and with her family. They requested privacy, so we're all respecting that right now. I think when the time comes, we'll be able to meet with BG, and the WNBA will do whatever they can to assist her in what she needs moving forward. But right now, I think the main focus is just her recovery, and we'll see how she's feeling as time goes on.
Breonna Turner, thank you so much for your time, and congratulations to you and everyone. We're so glad Brittany's back home.
Thank you.
Let's bring in the State Department's Special Representative for Racial Equity and Justice, Desiree Cormier-Smith. Greetings to you, Desiree. Now, I want to get into this because now that Brittany is safe, is there any more that you can tell us about the specifics of the negotiations for her release?
Well, thanks for having me again, Simone. And I'm so glad to be back to be talking about BG's return, right? And if I can say so, I told you so. When I was at first on your show a few months ago, I told you that we were working tirelessly every single day to bring BG home and every single other wrongfully detained American. So it is bittersweet that BG's home. Unfortunately, we were not able to get Paul Whelan home this time, but that doesn't mean we're going to stop working for his release. There are dedicated professionals across the U.S. government that work tirelessly to secure the release of wrongfully detained Americans around the world. And so I really just want to underscore that, because just to counter this false narrative that's gotten traction out there that we somehow have forgotten Paul. We have not forgotten Paul. And I'm really, really glad that you played that clip from his brother, because I think it shows the grace and the class and the dignity of the Whelan family and their understanding.
I want to talk about Paul Whelan, because it seems to me this criticism of Brittany Griner's release is pitting American against American. Brittany Griner against Paul Whelan, and it feels like that is playing directly into Vladimir Putin's goal of dividing folks inside the United States.
That's exactly right. We prioritize. The Secretary of State has repeatedly said that there is no greater priority for him or for the State Department or for the president than the safety and security of American citizens abroad. Again, he travels every day with a list of wrongfully detained Americans with him on his person, because it is at the top of his list of priorities and it's top of his mind. I really want to commend all of my colleagues at the State Department and across the administration whose full-time job it is to secure the release of wrongfully detained Americans, and that includes Paul Whelan.
So what can you tell us about the negotiations regarding Paul Whelan? Because it is my understanding that the Russians are potentially treating him differently because he is accused of espionage. And I want to be clear that that accusation is an unfounded, baseless accusation.
That's absolutely correct. And let me just foot stomp that. These are sham espionage charges. Unfortunately, like the president said on Thursday, the Russians are treating Paul Whelan differently. And that's why we were not able to get him home yet. But that doesn't mean we're going to stop working to bring him home. We have to look at these cases on a case-by-case basis. And unfortunately, Paul has been wrongfully detained for several years, and we will continue to negotiate. And beyond that, unfortunately, I can't offer any additional details because those negotiations are ongoing. As I'm sure you can understand, they're quite sensitive.
Well, and I guess before I let you go, Desiree, I completely understand, it's quite sensitive. The Brittany Griner release was months in the making and so sensitive that a very small group of people, it's my understanding, were aware of what was happening. Quickly, can you just tell me what was Victor Bout's value to Russia? And if you could speak to criticism that his release jeopardizes national security in the United States. Is that true?
Let me just say that this was a very difficult decision that the president had to make, and he did not make this decision lightly. He did not make this decision lightly. But at the end of the day, when he had the chance to bring an American home, he made the decision. And I will also say that we take a U.S. national security extremely, extremely seriously, and we will continue to monitor and stay vigilant to protect U.S. national security always.
All right, Desiree Cormier-Smith, a good diplomat from the State Department. Thank you very much for your time today and coming on.
Thank you.